Hello, this is David Hughes, and this is another video in the series supporting genealogy basics class. And what we're going to talk about today is researching more effectively. Um, the first step in being more effective is understanding the use of wildcards. And this is something you probably will be doing even in your general searches. Um, the use of wildcards broadens the uh, the information that you're trying to search for. So if we look at this in both ancestry and family search, um, what you can use is an asterisk, and when you put an asterisk in a name, it represents 0 to many characters. And here's some examples. So if I type in mod asterisk, that could represent just mod, or a mod with an E or a Y or IE or EY or EE. You know, all these sort of different variations that could come from mod. Now, question mark, though, does something a little differently. It represents a single character, nothing more, nothing less. It's a substitute, but it can be any letter in that position. So if you put OLS question mark N into ancestry or family search, what you would find in your searches includes, you know, Olson ending in the ON or an EN. So either one. And you can use both combinations in a word. So um, I know that Thompson spelled a lot of different ways. So if you start with asterisk OMPS question mark N, you know, you're picking up the O or EN ending, very specific characters, but also that it could be a T or a TH at the beginning in your searches. Always check the site that you're working on, a repository that you're doing the searches. They often have a page about wildcards. This is a very common tool to use to improve your searches. And then I have included here, if you go to, and I'll put this in the description, these links. But these are uh, blogs discussing how to use wildcards in ancestry and family search. So what I'm going to do, and when you get the handouts, you can take this, or if you don't have the handouts, maybe take a screenshot right now and put it aside so you can follow along here. But I'm going to do an example wildcard search, and I'm going to go to family search and show you how wildcards can help you find a person. So let me get over and go to family search. Here, it's open already. And I'm going to do search records. I'm going to look for Sarah Bunny. And what I have in my research in this example is that I'm looking for the 1910 US Census for Sarah Bunny. I cannot find it. Or, okay, I have found it, but I'm going to pretend I haven't found it. You can maybe put in more specific. I like to open up more options here and then put in specifically information about Sarah, that she was born about 1840. So I'm going to do 1839 to 1841, Indiana. Oops, sorry about that. We'll punch the key wrong. Um, anyway, I'll finish it up here. So, birthplace, Indiana. I have fat fingers, so that is the consequence. and residence place, like I had in the information. I knew that she was in Campbell County, South Dakota. So let's at least put in South Dakota uh, in there. So Sarah Bunny, South Dakota, and then let's do a search on this. And we come up with the correct side, right? There's spouse William Bunny, and we've seen that in some other videos. And we have 1900, 1905 state census, but we're missing the 1910 census. And you can see now the spelling starting to go off of Bunny. Sarah Bunny, Denver. Yeah, we're not finding it here. So let's try something. Maybe what's going on, we're going to use a wildcard. So S asterisk means it starts anything with S. And now we're going to, make sure that she was in resident here to her death in 19. Well, she didn't. She passed away way before 1920. So let me try again with this, but I'm going to put an asterisk in there to broaden the search. So now when I come up, I have Sarah Bunny, but now I come up with this unusual spelling, Sore Bunny. But the interesting thing is one of her daughters shows up, Winnie Bunny, is one of the family. You can see right up there. So let's, now you can take a look at it. Um, and when you view the record, you'll find out, we'll look at the census here. What you'll find is this is Sarah Bunny. The enumerator spelled the name uh, and wrote it down as Sore, Sore. So, we can verify this. We can zoom in, and it is not when you zoom in here, you can see that is what the enumerator wrote down, Sore. Um, so it's not a misindexed, that is correctly indexed. And we know that this is Sarah because here's the daughter, Winnie. Uh, she was born in Indiana. So all this information about her parents and herself are correct. And the other fact is that a few houses away is one of her sons, George Bunny. So anyway, the whole thing here is that we would not have found this if we had stuck with Sarah and just beat our head. Uh, it was in there, but we had to use a wild card to find some additional results. So there you go. Um, so so we move on to one of the most powerful ways to be more effective in your research is to research specific collections. And what we're talking about here is in repositories, these big, especially the big ones like Family Search, Ancestry, MyHeritage, and Find My Past, is that these general searches are searching across many, 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 many collections. They're searching to all 1 billion records. But what you can do is increase your success by narrowing down to a specific collection. So examples of specific collections in Ancestry Library Edition is like the 1880 United States Census, or Canada incoming passenger lists, or U.S. World War II Navy muster roll. Uh, get very specific. And this makes sense in that if you can get very specific with your where you're searching, for instance, like the 1880 United States Census, you can then when you can't find that person, you can use wildcards to broaden the types of names that you're going to search for. So when you're searching across all the databases and you broaden, and like we did with Sarah, it turned out a good outcome for us. But if we had done that, for instance, if we were worried that William Bunny was misspelled, or we did W asterisk, we could just be getting ourselves into a mess and coming up with uh, five or six, 10 times the amount of results and not making any progress. So what you would do is, you know that a person lives in the United States through their life. You systematically go to each census and find that person and systematically go through that rather than um, going to a general search and hoping to find all the census come up. So you go one by one. You then go research a death record and you look at death record type of databases. You want birth record. You search birth record databases, not everything else. So well, let's show how this plays out. And I'm going to go through a couple examples. Um, this first one is about John Falk, who married Betsy Livesey. They were both born in England, both in the 1840s to 1845s. They married in February 1870, and then I know that they had a son born in Ontario, Canada in 1870. So I want to find the passenger record and entry record uh, between February and December 1870. So let's try it one with a general search, and then we'll go back and search Ancestry Library using a specific Canada incoming passengers list. And I'll go through the steps to show you that. What we're going to do is go to Ancestry Library. We're first going to do a general search here. We're going to search all categories. So all categories. And what we're going to do is put in the key information, John Falk. And the birth information, I like to use these because this is confusing how this plays out. I like to use here, I have a 5-year range, so I picked the middle, 1843 plus or minus 2 years. England, right there, spouse name, Betsy Livesey. Of course, it won't be listed Livesey in the passenger records. And another fact is that the passenger records, those individuals and passenger records are not linked up. So really, it's going off of this information up here, really not the spouse name. So I threw it in here, but it really doesn't improve the search on passenger records because they don't, not unlike census records, which have these relationships and connections, passenger records don't usually have that. So anyway, let me find out what I can find for John Falk. Here's the marriage. Here's a census record. But now I'm coming up with a Seattle, Washington arrival. This one is arrival in Vancouver. Yeah, that doesn't look right from Sydney. No, it used to come from England. Um, Here's census information, possibly. Anyway, you go through here and nothing's coming up about coming in 1870 into, uh, the into Canada. So we're going to try this again. So we're going to search instead of all categories. We're going to search the card catalog. In the card catalog, we're going to put Canada and passenger. search. And we have several databases that we could look at, but really the best thing to do is go to the one that has most records. This has 7.3 million records, Canada incoming passengers. Now, let's put in our John Falk information. Falk, and this is 1843, 2 years from England. Okay, we didn't put much information. As you can see here, there's no option to put in spouse again because the records don't connect relationships. And we do a search on just that. And now instead of a huge list, we have a real narrow list. And the top of the list is John Falk arriving. Second one down, actually, arriving 1870. And we're going to just go straight to viewing the image. And down here, this is our John Falk. John Falk, Betty Falk, that's close enough. It turns out I think this is her official name. And the right ages. And this also verifies this is an engine fitter, which is another name at that time for like a mechanic. And in my research, I know that John Falk was a mechanic, also referred to as, at that time, engineer. So we found him, again, looking at a specific database rather than a broad search. We found him. So let's go back here. Let's do another one. So here's another one. We're going to look for Maud Overseth. This is actually Maud Bunny, daughter of Sarah William Bunny. Maud was born in 1879, but in records we often see 1881 as being reported. She died in 1954 in Sheridan County. And we have lots of census information, and the state censuses indicated that she was a member of the Lutheran Church, then becoming a part of the Trinity Lutheran Church. Her husband's ancestry is from Norway. So what we're going to do is we're going to try a general search in the Ancestry Library, and then come back and try to then do a more specific search in Lutheran Church records to show the success. And this, let me do this so you don't see all that. So we're going to go back to search all categories. And we're going to look for Maud Bunny. And we're looking for her death. And we're at 1954. And we knew that she died in Sheridan County, Wyoming. We have obituaries. We have a lot of information to know this, but we're trying to find some official records, specifically the church records. So now we can put in the birth information. We put 1880 plus or minus 1 year in Iowa. And we'll see what that comes up with. And when we do the search, look, well, I'll cut to the chase here. There's a lot of different things in here. What you're not going to find is a death record for Maud Bunny. It's not popping up here. Maybe if we say, hey, it's exactly that, maybe we can find something. It's not coming up. Uh, so actually, for sure it's 1954. Maybe something will come up. Yeah, we're not coming up with anything here. Um, so let's go back instead. Let's try to look for the fact that we know that she was part of the Lutheran Church records, Lutheran Church, and these Lutheran records are all over the world. Uh, and what we need to do is look at this one's got 0 records in it. I'm not sure what's in there, but coming down here, you know, Overseth was Norwegian, Swedish is pretty close. This is Germany, so this is the U.S. and we know she was died in the U.S. So let's take a look at this set of records here, Lutheran. And what we're going to do is put in mod, and we're going to Overseth, and we're just going to put in. Doesn't have an option for death, so let's see what comes up here. There is only one record, and here it is, Sheridan, Wyoming, but 1854, and birth 1781. Now, what's really weird, and let's take a look at this record, is this date is about right. The burial dates all checks out. Um, Nothing was going on in Wyoming in 1854. I mean, I'm telling you, uh, this is her, Mrs. Maud Overseth. And what it looks like is that somebody transposed some numbers here and put in, instead of 1954, put in 1854, put in her age, and then it back calculated about 1781. We would have never found this information using because of these bad birth and death dates. We would have never found it. But this is a record that now I can go. One of my to dos is to contact the church and try to see the original record, get an image of that record. But here it is, and we would have never found that otherwise. So anyway, another lesson for specific searches. So I'm going to go through each of the locations. Here's where you find how you research specific collections. Um, and I'll go through all of them. Family search, ancestry library. It turns out it's identical between the two. My heritage, and find my past. I'm going to step through all of these. I'm going to jump over there and step you through. Here's the Ancestry Library, and you saw me use the card catalog. That's one way to do that. I like the card catalog when it pops up. If for some reason card catalog doesn't show up, you go to all categories, and then you just do view all. When you get to view all, it's the same screen. This is a subscription, so same options, card catalog, or search all collections, and then view all. This one's a little different here, but anyway, the card catalog is the way to go here. My heritage, you hover over research, you go to collection catalog. Similar, and up here you can type in, up at the top right, you can type in the you can put in the what you're looking for, and there's United States Census. Um, and find my past. You look under search, and then do all records. And here's a list of all the record sets. And again, you can put in a United States. And, as you know, we talked about this before, but Find My Past tends to update the lists as you're typing. And so you could see here, U.S. Census 1880 is for the 1880 census. So there you go. Um, so there is one more thing you can do to be more effective. And this, to be more effective, is about not chasing all the rabbits here. And we all do it. I do it I struggle with this all the time because I start looking down, looking at a record, and suddenly, oops, wow, there's some real interesting stuff about their daughter. I'm going to look at the daughter's stuff, and then you get going. Basically, what you should do before you sit down is have a research plan. And the first step of a research plan is having a research goal. And this could be the bigger goal. For instance, one of my goals is to, you know, prove this relationship on my wife's family line back to the Revolutionary War period. And I have a specific objective, which means looking straight up this one line. Or an example here, identify the person who died as Maud um, in South Dakota. And, we won't do this on this video doing these exercises, but you just put this down, and it can be a 1 to 2 month time frame. Then you sit down, and that's the goal. Then you write a plan. And each goal might have many research plans. These are shorter time frames. It might be only 4 to 12 hours of research time. For instance, for Maud Overseth, we're trying to understand who she is and make sure we have the right Maud Overseth. Our first set might be, hey, I'm going to find U.S. and South Dakota state censuses that enumerate Maud Overseth, and starting in 1940, because she passed away in 1954. From 1940, and since I wrote the slide, 1950 census is in there, but go back as early as maybe 1880 U.S. census. So you just stick to the plan. You might have to make some adjustments along the way. I said find all these censuses. Here we found the 1915 census, and importantly, if you find some interesting information, for instance, I didn't know the specific year that Maud and Bert Overseth married, and here it is. They provided it in the state census, and the state censuses are nice in that they often get a different cut of information than the federal. But here, they were married in 1903. I could not find their marriage record and all the different things, but now I have a 1903 year and their Lutheran affiliation. This could lead us to finding their marriage record. So I haven't done that. It's on my list to do. And I put some notes down to do this research. It's just not on my primary research path. But anyway, the other thing is within the census objective I had, I might have to make some adjustments. Here, all through the sentences, I'm finding that it's consistently listed that Maud was born in Iowa. Well, that means at some point she's going to be, unless they move like the day after she was born, or within the year, she's going to appear in one of the Iowa state censuses. So I jumped to and found that in 1885, uh, Sarah Bunny, along with, uh, and oops, right here, it's Maudie. Um, Maudie was enumerated with Sarah Bunny in Iowa. So here I had the information. I made a slight adjustment plan, but my objective was to get all these censuses. Um, and then whenever you capture some information, even though your objective is on mod, when you get a piece of information, fully analyze it and cite it, but then put it with the different people. So each census where I was working with Maud and her family, I have a spreadsheet that puts everything in there and calculates the approximate ages and dates, birth date range. So I put that information, and here's the 1885 census. But then, if, for instance, the 1900 census I found had some siblings, I went into the tree and made sure that every individual that was on that census got tagged, and had that new source information put to those individuals in the trees. So once you have that piece of information in front of you, even though it has these uh, other people on there, process the information and the new evidence completely. Uh, don't leave it undone. So there you go. And then by following these plans, you will find that you will be more efficient in your time. You'll go and hit the, 1920 census, process it, cite it, save it, tag it, process all the information. Go to 1910, do the same thing, and you'll just become just a monster there. You'll just process it. You'll speed up, and you'll find that you once you hit all these goals, especially because you're setting these smaller goals, it'll feel good. You're moving and doing well. So anyway, thank you. If you have questions or comments or anything to add, you know where to get a hold of me. So thank you very much.